Okay, so what are we going to do today? Well, I'm going to show you, or help to show you, or try and show you how to install some wooden shutters onto a window. That's our window. We've just moved into a new house. We've ordered shutters for the windows because we prefer shutters than curtains. And I'm just going to try and really show you how easy it is to do. Because if you can do this, you can save yourself a fortune. So there's the window. We've just received the shutters. We've ordered them online. They took about 8 weeks to arrive. We ordered them from a company called DIY Shutters online. Very, very reasonably priced. And they've arrived today in, look at that, 4 big boxes. So I'm going to unpack the boxes, show you what's inside each box, and then hopefully I can show you how we're going to install them onto that window. So I'll come back to you again shortly once we've unpacked. Now, I just thought I'd come back to you before I have unpacked because I just wanted to show you how well these are actually packed inside those cardboard boxes, because these don't come cheap, shutters, but and it's important that they come to you well and truly properly packed. This is really, really good bubble wrap packaging, so they come really well packed in those boxes. Just wanted to share that with you, just so you can see that they do look after their products. So let me just finish off packaging and I'll come back to you again shortly. Okay, so here we are. Everything is now unpacked from the shippers. So what have we got? And this is where hopefully I can show you how simple this is. Well, that's the window, and in that window we're going to have 3 shutters each side. 1, 2, 1 in the middle, 1, 2, 1 in the middle. So 6 shutters. 3 will fold back to one side, the other 3 will fold back to the other. And this is our 6 shutters. Here you go. This is them. They all come fully assembled. And then we've got a frame that sits round the side of the shutters. And there you go. Now, you're either watching this YouTube video because A, you're just being nosy to see what I'm doing, or B, you are genuinely wondering if you can install some shutters. And let me tell you, if you, well, know one end of a screwdriver from the other, you know how to hold a drill, then to be quite honest, you can do this. And let me show you how easy this is going to be. For a start, here's the 3 shutters here, and these are the right hand shutters. And how do I know? Because on the top here, you've got just there an R. So that is telling you these are the right hand shutters. Okay, there you go. Very simple. They all come with the hinges already screwed into place and in the correct position. So you haven't got to worry about that. Here's the shutter for the other side. You can see that's got an L on it. Don't know if you can see that one. That's got an L on it as well. And so has that L. There you go. And again, they all have the hinges already assembled, so you haven't got to worry about that. All you've got to do is put these together, put a pin through those hinges to lock them together, which they obviously supply, and it's simple, made simple. Here is the frame that goes round the outside. Look again, all your hinges are already assembled. They even tell you which is your right hand side of the frame, which is your left hand side of the frame. See the L just there? Where are we? Just there. Just about see it. And they even tell you which is the top and which is the bottom. So there's a T on there for top and B on there for bottom. And it really is just a case of snapping things together, putting the frame up in the window, making it level, and then popping in those shutters. Very simple. We'll need to take 2 of you, but it's very simple. What do we need? Well, I've got a little tiny spirit level there. I've got my small handheld rechargeable drill. I've got my screwdriver. We've got the screws and the pins for the hinges from the manufacturer. And then what I've got here are some spacers which I had in the garage just to help keep it spaced and keep it level between the frame before we actually finish it off. Now, you might not have any of those. You can get them from a DIY store or just ask your neighbour to see if they've got any. Very useful to have. And I've just got some spare raw plugs there, just in case the raw plugs that they supply really isn't very good for the type of plasterboard walls that I've got. So there you go. That is everything you need and what you have to put your shutters together to put them into your window. So I'm going to now assemble the frame. So 4 pieces here. I'm going to lay it out on the floor first. Obviously I've cleared away all that rubbish that these came packed in. It wasn't rubbish because they were well packed. There's no damage. So we're going to lay the frame out on the floor and then I'll show you how simple it is to actually put that frame together. So let me do that and I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, so putting the frame together is again a simple thing to do. There's the top, there's the left hand side, there's the top, there's the right hand side, and there is the bottom. So what do you need to do? If you look inside this side of the frame, you'll see a little bit of a connector in there. Okay, and all you need to do is slide this side of the frame over the top of that connector and then give it a tap and it stays together, and it's a really, really good fit. So you take this side of the frame, slide that onto the top there and then push it down, and that is all there is to it. There you go. We have one corner of that frame already connected. Let me go to another side. So here we are on another corner, and again, very similar. That picks up and that just slides onto there and you push it down and there you go. You have another corner and joint connected. And you do that all the way round until you've got the frame put together. So there we have a fully assembled frame for the shutters, and that frame is going to sit inside the recess of that window for those shutters to fix to with the hinges. So the next thing I'm going to do is lift this frame up into the window and then we're going to position it. So let's just get that in place. So there we are, we've got the frame sitting inside the window there. Now this is always the bit where you hold your breath because you hope that the frame is going to fit inside the window. But if you follow the measuring instructions to the T on the website of how to measure your windows, and then listen to the customer service member who will call you once you've ordered them, then you should not get this wrong. That should go in quite nicely. So then, when you're fitting, what have you got to take into account? First of all, if you can see, we've got a bit of a profile there for the window handles. So obviously you've got to make an allowance for that handle and where the shutter is. So you don't want your shutter to hit that handle. So you've got to make a fair space between those. Plus, and let me show you on a profile of the shutter, when the shutter opens behind, it comes out a little bit. So you can see it moves. So you've got to allow for that movement behind the shutter as well. So what I suggest you do, and this is what I'm doing, is measure how much distance there is there. And on this, it's 1.5 centimetres. And then measure what your distance is there that comes out from your frame. And that's 3.5 centimetres. So that gives me 5 centimetres. So I'm actually going to allow 6 centimetres, which is that distance there, which is between the window and the frame. That way it gives us enough clearance for those handles, and it's easier as well to clean down there, because you will get dead flies and all sorts of things that are buzzing around behind the shutters. And trust me, you do need a bit of space just to get a cloth down there or to run your vacuum cleaner. So 6 centimetres, that is our guide. And I'm now going to position this frame so we know where we have to drill our holes. Right then, now I always start off on the bottom of the shutter. Okay, so I've got my measurements. I'm 6 centimetres there from the frame. I'm 6 centimetres there from the frame, and I am at the end and that end. Now what you do is you get the pre-drilled holes sitting here in this frame, and they are the screws that they supply. So to mark out the first holes, I usually just pop those screws in there, give them a tap with a hammer, which will mark the positioning on the window board, and then that allows me to screw the screws in, but also to drill the holes ready for those screws. So I'm going to tap them in, and then I'm just going to remove the frame just so you can see where I've got those marks. Okay, so I've moved the frame back for now, and you can see just where I've tapped that screw on the head in the right position. That has now marked the position for me to drill the holes for these screws. And what I've got here, I've got a UPVC window board, which is quite thick, as you can see. So all I need to do is just a pilot hole in there, just so we can actually get those drilled and in place. And then what I will do, once I've done that, I'll make sure they're in the right position, and then we'll just secure one of these at each end, and then that will help us to mark the holes for the rest of the frame once we've got that sitting right and we've checked it with the spirit level. So I'm just going to drill these holes in here, and then we can start to fix this. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, I've got the holes drilled, the raw plugs are in, and I'm ready to position the bottom of the frame. Now, I am not a builder, I'm not a carpenter, I am a Sunday morning DIY guy who knows his limitations. But this is so simple, and that's what I'm just trying to say to you. You can save hundreds of pounds if you buy these things online and install these yourselves. And I mean hundreds of pounds. So worth taking a look, and so simple. So all we're going to do now is just anchor this down to these screws. So we've got the bottom in position, and then we can work out the levels and get that straight and get the rest of the pilot holes in for drilling. So okay, frame has been secured in position at the bottom. I haven't screwed them right in, but you can see that is well and truly in place. So all we need to do is make sure that we have this side of the frame and the other side of the frame, and we're level, because if we ain't level, this is not going to work. So all we need to do is just position that frame and make sure that we're level on that spirit level. I think Let's just adjust that. I think that is just about there. Don't think you can get much more level than that. No, that's pretty good. So what we're going to do is put a screw in there and there and there, again along the top and down the sides, and then just tap those screws into those holes, and then that will mark on the wall where we need to position. So then we will unscrew the bottom of that frame, and then we'll put all those holes in the wall, and we should be able to position the frame properly. Now, what I also want to let you know and show you what I've done, the windows here, we have top vents. See, these are the vents at the top here. And those vents are really important, certainly for fresh air, obviously, but also for ventilation. So another thing and another reason for leaving that space all the way round the edge there is so that we've got plenty of room there for the ventilation. And you can get in and open and close those vents quite easily when the shutters are open. So that's just another thing to bear in mind. So, going to check to make sure that the level's fine, tap in those screws, get some marks around the frame, and then I'll come back to you and show you what we do next. So here we are, I've taken the frame out. That's the 4 holes with raw plugs I've got sitting on the window board, and then you can see where I've just tapped in those holes on the side and on the top there, just there and there and there, and then down the other side, ready for me to drill and plug. So that's my next exercise. Drill and plug all those, get them all ready, then we can put that frame back in position and then screw it down and get it ready to take our shutters. So let me just do that. I'm sure you don't want to see me screwing and drilling, but let me just do that and then I'll come back to you. So there we have it. We have all those holes and raw plugs in place all the way around the window, hopefully in the right positions, ready for us now to put the frame back in and get it into place. So what I'm going to do is put the frame back in, set in the 4 screws at the bottom again, and then we'll go around and just set the screws in all the way around just to make sure that we've got those holes in the right place. So I'll come back to you just before we screw down tight. So here we go, frame back in place. All those screws have now hit the mark. They're all sitting inside the raw plugs all the way around. And then all I need to do now is just go around and tighten them up. Now, just a word of warning on here. When doing the top here, because there is a bit of a gap along the top, you can never get your wall straight. So there's always going to be a bit of a gap going round your frame. So you just put some builder's caulk in along the top there, and then top it up with a bit of white paint to match the walls when it's dry, and you're well away. You could lift it up a little bit off that window board, but to be quite honest, I would prefer to have the gap filled at the top than along the bottom. And providing it all sits level, then we're good to go. So I'm going to screw these in, and then we're going to try and pop the shutters in and see how we get on. So back with you again in a few minutes. So there we have it. The frame is in place. That, my friends, is the hard bit. If you followed that, and you can see that that is easy, and you can see that you only need a drill and a screwdriver, then please, you've made the decision. You can put shutters in yourself and save yourself a fortune. So the next thing we need to do is to hang the shutters. As I said earlier, you've got, there you go, you've got those brackets and hinges already hung and ready. So let's line that first one up and see how easy it is. Okay, so right, we're going to really hang the first shutter. As you can see, the hinge at the top there, that goes in the middle there, the one down here at the bottom, and then you have the pins, which they supply, just slots down the middle like that. And then get the second pin, slots down the middle like that.
Also good for when you want to clean them.
Okay, so there you go, there's the first shutter. How smart does that look? And let me show you something else as well. You have little tiny magnets here, so when that shutter shuts, it clicks into place. So that's really good. So let me get the second shutter. Bear with me. Take that second shutter, like that. And this one, very similar, hangs on that hinge there. And on the bottom hinge there. Sorry about the tractor noise, we're still living on a building site here. And then your pin goes in the top there. Once you get that in position. Oh. This is what it needs two of you, this bit.
No.
Okay, I'll come back to you in just a second. Let me just line things up. So I've got that in position, and then you can see the hinge together, and that just pops down there. So then that's your second shutter with a run of 3. You can see how they fit together. Get the gist. And then bring in the third door, which will be easier again. And then line that middle hinge. Take that pin, let's get that in position first. That should then just drop in there. And that's the second pin. Move that into position. Sometimes you just need a bit of a tap. Down there. And there you have one side of the window that's ready
Oh,
and
exciting.
shuttered.
It's beautiful.
It is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the good thing about this as well, the reason why we chose 3 shutters on each side is because you can then open this up and have that right back like that.
Wow.
So you can still have that lightness coming into the room. So we're going to pop you on pause. I'm going to install the window the other side and then come back to you. And there you have it. You have a window of shutters. What more can I say? They make the room look really nice and cool and trendy and contemporary. You saw me install them. I did it on my own until literally 10 minutes at the end when I had Mrs. T help me, and they transform a room. I'm going to show you some different styles now of how you can have these, and I'm going to show you what they look like as well from outside. So that's one way of having it. So I'm going to then change the view. That's another way of having them. All I've done is tilted the slats at a different angle. And now I'm going to open them up and bring them back so you can actually look just to see what they look like when they're open. And there you go. That's what they look like when they're opened up to the side. So you've still got the light coming in, you've still got that opportunity of having a normal open window, but then you can shut it down if you want. Now there's one last thing to do, and that's just inside here. You can see the black screws. The last thing you need is to see those screws in place. So what they actually do is they provide a nice little insert, which which is here, which is sticky back on the bag, and then it slides in there just like that, and then finishes that off a treat and just makes that look well finished off. So we'll do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like after we've finished. And there you go, that is the shutters completely finished off. You can see that middle strip has gone in all the way round, covered up those screw holes and given us that really, really professional finish look. So that's it. There's only one thing for me to show you, and that's what do they look like from the outside. Let's go and have a peek, shall we? And there you have it. That is the shutters. That's the shutters on our nice window there. How smart do they look? Smart, clean, crisp, contemporary, absolutely perfect. Really pleased with those. And you know, it does make the house look a lot nicer and a lot smarter. It's our preference, but there you go. Not everybody would say the same. So back inside for the end of our video. That, everybody, is how to install your own Californian wooden shutters. I'm really pleased with that. It goes to show you don't have to be a carpenter. You don't have to be a builder. You need a screwdriver, a drill and a hammer and some raw plugs, and off you go. That's taken me, I would say, about an hour and a half in total in between shots here. I'm very, very pleased. We've got another one going into another bedroom, and then when we've finished works around the rest of the house, we will be installing them everywhere else. I hope that has helped you if you have decided to go shutters and do it yourself, because companies can charge you hundreds and hundreds of pounds to install them. Give it a go. Try it. You will be amazed. If you found that of any help, please, please, please give me the thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. And hit that red button and subscribe, because the more you subscribe, the more of this type of thing I can bring you. It doesn't matter what it is or what I do. I'm just trying to give you my experience and show you that everyday people like me can do things like this. And that is absolutely honest and true. Keeping it simple, you know, what more can I say? Thank you very, very much for watching, and bye for now.